Let's just start with a fact, shall we? And for those opposite, a fact is something based in truth. So when we talk about vaccinating children and suggesting that we should be looking at children under 12, there is actually not a vaccine approved for them globally. So let's just stop with that little piece of fallacy, shall we? But perhaps you want those of us with children under 12 to offer them up as guinea pigs, but I can assure you that won't be happening. But I do note, as the parent of a 12-year-old boy who is an NDIS participant, I'm thrilled that my beautiful boy is now eligible from today to get the Pfizer vaccine. But what I also know, we were able to get an appointment, had I been in Sydney, tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. at the hospital that is less than 250 metres from my apartment. 250 metres from my apartment at 7:30 tomorrow morning, I could have got him his first Pfizer jab. And there were multiple other options available across New South Wales. So, unfortunately, I'm not in Sydney. I'm not there to be able to take it up. But had I been there, we would have been able to get our first dose tomorrow morning of Pfizer for a 12-year-old boy who's an NDIS participant. And I do accept, though, that sometimes families can struggle to find this information, to figure out where they can get a booking, because they are available in health hubs, in pharmacies, through GPs. So for those opposite that might actually be interested in assisting people, perhaps you'd like to direct them to my website, hollyhughes.com.au. My staff have put together a fantastic COVID page collating all the information from federal, state and private sites, letting people know where they can book a vaccine, what vaccines are available and how long it'll take for them to get in. But also on top of that, as of yesterday, in recognition of all participants, the NDIS over 12 now being eligible for a vaccine, Tom in my office really went over and above. He's put together a page specifically for people with a disability. So not only have we included information on where people can go and get a vaccine, we've actually put information in there containing social stories, because we understand for a lot of people with a disability, doing something new, something a bit scary, something that you don't really understand, can be challenging. So we've included links to social stories, and for those of you that don't understand what that is, they're very simple stories with language and pictures that help families and carers explain to the person with a disability what's going to happen, what does it mean, how they might have to wait, what they're going to have to do when they get to their appointment. And this is because some of us actually understand the challenges of having a child with a disability and what that means when coming to get a vaccine. So we've gone out of our way, or in fact not even out of our way, just done what we do, to include information to assist these families. But I would like to also acknowledge David in my office. He got a couple of phone calls last week from parents of children with disabilities who were struggling to find where to get a vaccine. So for one family in particular, he pointed them in the right direction on our website and they managed to find one themselves. But for another one that was still struggling, he went out of his way. He made the phone calls for them. And that child received their very first dose of vaccine this week, because I saw the letter yesterday from that parent thanking him for the assistance and going over and above what was required. So perhaps for Senator O'Neill, next time she gets a phone call from someone like Bodhi's mum, perhaps rather than using Bodhi as an opportunity to score a political point, perhaps Senator O'Neill and her office might like to go to some effort to actually assist the family, to actually work with them through this issue, not use it as a political point-scoring exercise. It is absolutely disgraceful. So, to you opposite, to all of those opposites sitting there, casting those stones, throwing those barbs, but not really ever helping anybody, let me give you some advice. Perhaps you'd like to find some real information. Perhaps make it available to your constituents. Perhaps ensure that people know where to go when they find information rather than running a fearmonger and scare campaigns. But rather than parents with disability offending us and patronising, maybe try and help us.
Order.